Every piece of scientific data is verified through hundreds of thousands of different experiments before being released to the world. Nowadays, especially in the field of testing the accuracy of vaccines and food products, it is imperative that the data be released only after verifying its accuracy through the participation of people. This is a very difficult and sometimes dangerous area of research that can even lead to death if the results are wrong. So in today's video, we hope to talk about the cautionary research conducted using humans. Was this research as successful as we thought it would be, or was it conducted with a sinister purpose? Also, will the population team receive death for life? So in today's video, we hope to talk about this. Also, stay until the end of the video. Hormonal and enzymatic research involving humans is a very dangerous task. This is because if even one inappropriate atom interacts with human genes, that person could suffer from an allergy for the rest of their life or even die. So this is a story about the mustard gas test. This very dangerous research was conducted in America during the Second World War. After the war broke out, the Allied countries began conducting experiments with the aim of finding a solution, suspecting that the Germans would use mustard gas again. In trying to find that solution, the experiments started. The American military used its own soldiers for this purpose. Young American men who were in good health and were not in the military were recruited to participate in these tests. The purpose of using observations effectively under both controlled and uncontrolled conditions was to examine how it affected military personnel and civilians differently. Over time, military personnel may adapt to the war environment, especially to gases released by guns and bombs. This could be studied by looking at the blood counts of those who died or by observing certain hormonal changes in the brain. We've all heard about the use of mustard gas to produce oil. But what is mustard gas? Is it a gaseous test using mustard? Or is it produced by reacting bleaching agents like ammonia gas? This is a gas that has unbearable adverse effects on the human body. In the early 20th century, it was also used as a chemical weapon, especially during the First World War, when the Germans used this gas to paralyze the enemy's army. For this reason, they were considered lucky at the time. Even today, exposure to ammonia gas carries a risk of death, depending on the concentration. Its reaction with water has a very high tendency to produce a poisonous gas with severe adverse effects. The gas is actually a sticky, oily substance, and when it comes into contact with human skin, it causes serious injuries. When inhaled, it can cause irreversible lung damage and unstoppable bleeding, creating a condition similar to tuberculosis. It is unlikely a person would survive for long. For this reason, in 1942, soldiers were forced to sign documents indicating their consent to be used for this test. They risked their lives to undergo it. The Germans used this gas during the First World War, but this particular experiment was held in America. Americans wanted to understand how mustard gas would behave in the climate of the United States. The reason for this was that the American Army was fighting in areas with a tropical climate in the Pacific Ocean at the time. The vapor acted very harshly in the climatic conditions of that region, and many people suffered severe burn injuries when exposed to the air. Many of them beat on the walls of the tanks and cried to be removed, but they were only released after the scheduled time. We all know about the science fiction films set during the First and Second World Wars. Survivors of these wars later released various ideas and experiences to the world. We haven't talked much about the mustard air test. Only a few people survived this horrific experiment. They were strictly prohibited from speaking to the world about it. In fact, they were warned that any attempt to do so would result in imprisonment for life. In other words, they were silenced. This information was deliberately kept hidden from the public. However, the truth began to emerge in 1993. By that time, most of the people who had conducted the experiment, as well as those who had participated and survived, were no longer alive.